Now I was gonna do a second episode on talking to yourself, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do that following week. So what you're gonna get, you're not gonna get this. So this is gonna be more on amplified thoughts, and that was for the talking to yourself episode 1. So my amplified thoughts are, why don't I bother with a relationship? Now I was thinking about this in the pub today because alcohol really lubricates your brain to the point where you just think, God, I know how to be a fucking twat. Not just I don't know how to be a twat, but I know how to be a fucking twat. Maybe more on that in another episode. Because the thing is, when you are a fucking twat with a capital F, when you are fucking twat, you know exactly how to. Basically, your thoughts become like constipation. You think about things in the way that, like, for me personally, it's like inside out. I won't say I think. Sometimes it just, I know it comes out wrong, but when it's out, when you had about 4 or 5 pints, it's like, you know exactly what you're thinking, but that's how it sounds. And don't ever try to explain to somebody what you mean, because they don't know what you mean, and you know what you mean, but you don't know what you mean, and it's like a piece of screwed up paper. Only it's a piece of screwed up paper with a bit of shit attached to it, and that is basically what alcohol does. Now let's talk about what's on my mind, right? Relationships, man. Let's talk about relationships because I've never. I thought, by the way, I'm using Boss Jock Junior, and I've got the iPod earphones in, the wired ones, because you can actually hear stuff come back. So I'm not shouting into the fucking microphone like some brain rot bastard trying to rot everyone's brains or rot society. Who gives a anyway? That's what happens when you're a fucking twat. Anyway, do you know, that sounds exactly something that Katie Hopkins would write. Because she looks down, well, she looks down everyone's, bloody hell. She knows how to look down the asshole. She could stare a pile of poo in the face and see exactly what it's like. Anyway, Katie Hopkins. Anyway, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? Let's talk about relationships, man, because it's coming to Valentine's Day. I love you and kissy kissy, you know, and oh gosh, and you know, and BDSM gets. People don't know what BDSM is. You know, they just watch. What's the fucking thing called? 50 Shades of. Bleh. Yeah. And think, oh, it's all lovey-dovey. It's fine to abuse my husband or girlfriend in the bedroom. It's fucking fine. And then it's like, without even asking, it's like consent goes out the window. It's like, here we go. It's like, you know, it's fine. You know, I'll just gently tie my girlfriend to the wardrobe and beat her. Yeah, it'll be fine. And a velvet whip. And it's the same. It's like, that's not okay. And then they gloss it over even more. It just, the whole thing just makes you want to fucking. I've not watched the film, by the way. But I've had it described, and I'm like, fucking hell no. Fucking hell no. It's just not the way. So, here's my 50 Shades of Grey. Here's 90 Shades of Grey. Relationships to me ain't what they're advertised. And to be honest with you, like, friendships are, they can be, like, they can be fucking, like, they can be, like, say if you have a very best friend, for example, like, a relationship which you've built up. Can you just go over there for a minute, please? I don't know, you can't get the cuddlies, can you? Let's get my slippers off. Right? And friends, they do. Friendship costs a lot, by the way. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin in a minute. Who gives a fuck? Come on. Oh. Man, this mattress is going to die. Oops. Move over, doggy. That's the way. Anyway, what was I saying? Before I rudely got interrupted. That was it. If you hear any rustling, it's me fixing the cover. Right. Yeah, the thing with relationships, right, is you never see the other side of the coin. You know, that's my panic. I mean, there's a lot of girls I like, but if I went out with them, it'd be a different story. You know, like, it's alright, I like the look of them, but it's, would they fully understand me? Would they fully see my needs? Would they fully, you know, they wouldn't be this fun and frolic person all the time. It's just not the way they'd be. They wouldn't want to be. And the thing is, the whole kind of, like, for a normal person, it's fine. But our friends need to be that role. A really good friend needs to be that role. And I know a lot of people say there's difference between a carer and a fucking, like, whatever. But when you're in a relationship, right, you have to do both roles. It's not like the movies. It's not like the movies. It's not like this shitty advice that you read in magazines. You've got to be everything. Every single living, every single thing. And the thing is, when you're in a relationship, you have to be, the thing is, as well, you have to be there for them, but they have to be there for you. And a lot of the time, the experiences I've had, it's like, you've not been there for me. What's the point? And and here's the thing as well. Communication cues. my communication skills are fucking terrible. To find someone who will read them properly is brilliant. Now, I've got people who I can count on one hand who will literally, no matter what, they won't mind if I text them back in 3 months because they know I'll text them back in 3 months. But there's some people who they know who they are, and if I don't text them back in 3 months, they think that I'm just pissing them off. One of them I'm not even going out with. And it's like, I DM them on TikTok. They speak to me still. But it's just like, that's the thing. That's part of my autism. You know, I have days where I'll text somebody on and off. And I do it to a lot of people. But it's just, I don't know. I find it more difficult, especially, you know, if I'm listening to music and then someone's texting me. I find it a more difficult thing to do. It's more, you know, difficult to do for me. But, you know, another thing as well is a lot of people, if you're in a relationship, right, you can't have other female friends. You can't. It just, like, they let us have male friends and we let them have female friends. But if we have another female friend, we let them have a male friend, but if we have another female friend, freaking hell, it's like the world's gonna fall apart. I mean, there's a new thing now. I think they're called open sex relationships, but both, there has to be a lot of give and take with that. And it has to be a lot of give. More give than take, I think, with that, to be fair. And it has to be someone who you deeply, I think for an open-ended couple, in my eyes, you have to trust each other. And I mean trust. Well, there has to be a lot of trust in my eyes for that. someone who can say, right, I can jump into bed with anyone and fuck anybody, but if they go too far, I know how to run it. Has to be the same for both. I couldn't do that um, because um, you know, you both have to be strong. You can't be weak. Anyway, that's just don't really overthink that one. But do you know what I'm saying? And I understand. I think it's more for the Gen X crowd, the Gen Z crowd. Sorry. But there's something that I do disagree with as well, right? And there was a woman talking about it on her YouTube video. He's paying somebody and getting the fuck. Now, I understand. Like, back in the day, there was people that they used to call roamers or bed hoppers. Basically, what they did was they'd go to a club, they'd meet a girl, and they'd take the girl home, and they would do the business, and the guy would run off the next day. Wouldn't want to get involved. Now, personally, in today's world, it's got a lot worse, because what's happening is they go online, they go on certain sites, and they pay the women on the sites. And these women, they're not just promoting on that site, they'll promote, say, on social media websites. And see, the thing is, the porn industry now is a lot of people it's a lot of the women now based it's like a girl now, to get a girl now, it's like she will sell herself just so she can whatever it is. And I personally think that's wrong. And they have to be in that relationship until they're done with them. I mean, that's another reason why I can't be in a relationship, because I get bored with someone and that's it. But I wouldn't say bored with someone, but I think it just wears off, doesn't it? It just, I think when you flirt with someone, it gets more exciting, but you can't always do that when you're with someone. And plus, it's difficult. Do you know what I'm saying? But You know if someone loves you. You don't have to be in a relationship to know that someone, you know, it's more because you know and sex just it's just the icing on the cake. Do you know what I'm saying? But that's another conversation for another day. You know, there's that like support for one another or support for each other or and communication cues, they're real difficult to read, but if you can read them, that's a big um that's to know. Anyway, I'm getting tired of this shit.